So we got a breakthrough for Centuria, and we got a pretty good amount of info. Not so much, but we got just enough to kind of see where the story's gonna head. So this beginning arc, my idea, like what I think is probably we're going to focus on like an assassination arc where people are gonna try to go after Julian and Dina, because there's this whole situation where Elstree is trying to separate Julian and Dina so that they can get to Dina without Julian intervening, because apparently Julian is a badass and he has gotten good at fighting. And you can tell because in this chapter, when he's going against Lacrima, he's just hammering and just going full on. Like, he doesn't even need this other guy's help. I already forgot his name. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so his name is Lucas. I completely forgot his name. But yeah, so let's start talking about this chapter. So first of all, we have a little bit of a flashback of Elstree explaining what her plan is. And she hired a group of assassins to take care of Julian. And again, she plans on dividing them so that one group can focus on Dina and the other group can focus on Julian. She's obviously using these guys because she probably knows that they won't be able to take on Julian. But the only thing that she wants is for them to take care of Dina, and that's absolutely it. So what could potentially happen is that Julian is so good at fighting now, and you can tell in his fight against Lacrima, because he's just really fast and he's just honed his abilities much more. I don't know how many more lives he's lost, because he does seem to be very nonchalant about taking damage. I mean, we saw that at when his fight against Arkos. But again, it's very interesting the way that this is kind of going down. Now, she obviously knows that she doesn't really care if Julian lives or not. She just wants these guys to distract Julian. But obviously, these guys are very confident that they can take on Julian and they just take him out and whatever. And, Elstree is like, whatever, dude, I really don't give a fuck, right? She doesn't really care so much. So there's that whole situation, right? Now, the one thing I will say, though, is I think that Elstree's plan in some way, shape, or form is going to backfire. And I insist on the whole self-fulfilling prophecy thing. I am 100% sure that's going to happen, because it's very weird for it not to happen. I think though now I've been thinking about a lot about the self-fulfilling prophecy, and I think it could go in a different direction, because I thought that what was going to happen is that Elstree was going to make Dina's life very miserable. She was going to end up killing Julian and thus create a whole baton pass in terms of protagonism. And then Dina will get angry at the king and at Elstree and then want to take revenge on the king. And thus this prophecy will fulfill itself. But I'm starting to think, what if Dina is the child of prophecy, but what if her death is what creates the whole prophecy? What I'm saying is, what if Dina ends up getting killed by Elstree, which prompts Julian to get severely pissed, severely angry, and then want to take revenge on the king? So that way it could also be a type of blurry prophecy, because it is Dina who was the child of prophecy, but the one who would end up making the king's life miserable would be Julian and not Dina. Again, it's a little bit of a stretch, but it's something that I've been thinking about, and it would still fit with the idea of Dina being the child of prophecy, but her death, igniting the whole thing, and Julian being the one who would, carry out the assassination of the king, right? That's what I'm thinking, though. But, give me your thoughts on that. So, that's Elstree's whole plan. She just plans on dividing Julian. What she didn't count on is that Lucas is now part of his team. Again, I'm still kind of shady on Lucas. I don't know if Lucas is actually an innocent dude who's going to join Julian and the squad, or if he's an assassin that was sent by them to distract Julian. Again, I imagine what could potentially happen is this guy works with those assassins. So what will happen is he'll tell Julian, oh, I'll take Dina and the other girl, your not wife, and I'll protect them, and you take care of these guys. And then he takes them, and then it turns out that they come in clutch, and he lets them, get rid of Dina and the Julian's not wife. That's kind of how I imagine it could go down if Lucas is actually a traitor. The second option is Lucas is still a traitor, but he wants the money for himself and he's not working with these other assassins that she hired. And or the third option is he's actually a good guy and he's going to end up joining Julian. He's going to help Julian protect Dina, and I keep forgetting her name. Her name is Frey, I think. Something, I don't know. So those are my options with Lucas. He doesn't seem like he knows Lacrima, but yeah. And then towards the end of the chapter, we have Julian versus Lacrima, which is kind of a one-sided fight because Julian is super fast and she's not a very good proficient fighter. The only thing she has going for herself is that now she can control her body turning into water. So that's going to be a problem for Julian. But there is an aqueduct, so maybe Julian will take her to the aqueduct or like a big body of water and take care of her there. But I don't think so. I think she's going to get beat up pretty badly by Julian because, again, she might be able to turn her body into water, but we don't know if she can regenerate the way that Arkos was able to. So yeah, that's the whole situation, right? And that's basically the entire chapter. So give me your opinions on what do you think might happen. I did like the whole, I guess like the whole exposition part from Lacrima and her background and everything. Again, I understand why it was done that way because it has to be done like pretty quickly, that's one thing about this manga is a lot of things. I think the pacing is good, but a lot of villain introductions are pretty quick, pretty fast, which makes me feel like Lacrima isn't going to be around as much. I would have preferred for the author to show us how everyone shuns Lacrima instead of her telling us like, everyone, looks down on me. But, again, I understand the pacing has to be done in a certain way. So I don't mind, again, it's a weekly manga, I guess. Showing instead of, telling could make a lot of people bored because a lot of people look at this as like a shonen battle shonen. But I feel like it's more of a dark fantasy shonen. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of like where I'm at, right? Anyway, give me your opinions on this chapter. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty entertaining. I liked seeing Julian's refined abilities, seeing how good he's gotten at fighting, and just seeing him take down Lacrima. So yeah, give me your opinions on this, and I will see you all next time. So, bye-bye.